And welcome back to What If, the new Dragon Ball What If, which I'll be honest, I'm not even sure this might go past part one. We'll find out. It comes just from Nick Hammond, who asked the question, what if King Cold raised/adopted Goku? Now, obviously I'm using Turles here, but Turles just looks like an evil version of Goku, so that works out. This is interesting. So, obviously, Goku, for this to work, I think the most logical step is this. Obviously, we know the Saiyans get wiped out by Frieza. King Cold, though, is busy just chilling in retirement most of the time. He still probably checks in on the Empire from time to time. He's like, everything going good, son? Yes, father. Are you sure it's going well? Perhaps, father. Did you wipe out a planet worth of help? Maybe. Oh, my little poopsie is such a little dick sometimes. But yeah, I mean, King Cold's first, definitely took a step back when Frieza was running the Empire. Because we saw in Super, that's what happened. He changed over leadership to Frieza. Granted, I'm sure Frieza still answered to Cold ultimately, because we know Cold was still, even with Mecha Frieza, still stronger as far as we know. Cold is, really strong. Toriyama, I believe, said that if he gave Cold a final form, it would have been as strong as second form Cell. That's really freaking strong and tells you that just in that form, he was almost certainly stronger than his son in his final mecha form. But the way this works, I think, is we know Goku fled the planet, or was sent off to the planet, sent to Earth. The way I think this can work is if he's either intercepted by Cold's ship or something happens, like the force of the blast is so jarring that it forces like a recalibration of the directional system. So instead of and it goes to something that's pre-programmed into the pod already. King Cold's palace very likely could have been programmed into the pod. It's a place the Saiyans might have gone from time to time just when they were called. So ultimately, yeah, he ends up at King Cold's palace, and King Cold's current staff was, "My lord, there's a baby here." A baby? Mm-hmm. It's a Saiyan child. A Saiyan child? What would a Saiyan child? Why would they send a Saiyan child to my place? I don't know. It seems there was an issue with the calibrations, and they checked. It seems the directional or navigation system, that was the term I was looking for. The navigation system has been warped. It seems the Saiyan was heading somewhere else, but it looks like something happened to affect the navigation and ended up here, sir. And it's like, I see. Please get in touch with Planet Vegeta and see what the issue is. Certainly, a few minutes later, as he's just kind of looking over the baby, he can feel something about this. I mean, we know Goku's power was like 2, so it's really not anything impressive at the moment. It's like, it's such a weak child indeed. Yet there's something about it. And obviously, Cold picks out, and Goku kind of like being cradles in his giant hand. And like, it's just it's like, I've never cared for you Saiyans much, but I must admit, there is something amusing about you. Yes, there is. It's like, yeah. Sir, it would appear, what is it? I'm gonna make up a name. Guap. What is it, Guap? Your son. What about my son? He destroyed Planet Vegeta. Why the bloody hell would he do that? Because Frieza, we know, as Vegeta pointed out, he feared the Saiyans that they'd ultimately rise against him. Cold didn't give a shit. While Cold clearly never loved the Saiyans, he respected what they offered to him for his empire. But he never feared the Saiyans. Frieza, being a spoiled, rotten brat, clearly was scared of the Saiyans. And he's like, I don't want to be defeated by a Super Saiyan, blah, 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 blah. All that. We know Frieza ultimately was scared of the Saiyans. And by the way, I have seen the spoilers for the next Dragon Ball Super manga. God, I just got finished writing out the power level video scaling. And now I gotta redo that shit again. I'm not gonna do that video, by the way, until I see the Super movie that Friday. I'm planning to see this Friday with a friend of mine. But yeah, all I'll say is Frieza came back and anywho, um, so yeah, he's like, oh, so you're saying all the Saiyans are dead? It's like a few are spared. Lord, Prince Vegeta, his advisor Nappa, and a Saiyan known as Rattans. Well, I could send the Saiyan back and be part of Frieza's forces, but seeing as my son doesn't seem to appreciate the help as much, we'll keep the Saiyan here for now. It's always important. It's always good to find new talent. There's something about this child. Make sure it's got a good. Give it some time to grow, and then we'll train it. And so, Goku is raised by King Cold. Now, we should note that Goku is apparently similar to his dad in that he is by nature a good-hearted Saiyan. But it is also a nature versus nurture thing too. You have to. I mean, everyone always has that debate about nature versus nurture, and for the longest time, people were bringing it up that that is not Goku bopped his head, and that immediately made him good. No, what it did was A, knocked out a lot of his memories, and B, I think curbed his personality quite a bit. Now, that being said, you get someone who is showing respect to you, encouraging you to grow stronger, all that, but without popping the head. Well, A, he clearly has his memories, and B, or at least the bare bones memories, because he is a kid. There's only so much you can remember at that time. Hell, he didn't remember Bardock and Gine until frickin' Granola arc when he's in his 50s, I think he is. So, and that was through a series of circumstantial events. So, yeah, while he does remember them, King Cole's like, oh yes, my poor Kakarot, I'm sorry. Sorry about your parents. I didn't know them personally, but I'm sure they served us well. It's like, and yeah. Now, I don't think Goku knows that Frieza blew up the planet either. All he knows is that most of his race is dead. And does he know Vegeta? He knows about Vegeta, Raditz, and Nappa, I'm certain, but do Vegeta and Raditz and Nappa know about Goku? Does Raditz know his brother's alive? And I think they've heard stories of a Saiyan that works directly with King Cold, but they never are allowed to go to King Cold because they work for Frieza. Frieza also hears about this, like, Father, when did you acquire Saiyan? When you blew up the bloody planet, Frieza? That's thousands of helpers gone. Do you know how hard it is to find good help, son? Father, no buts. Now, promise me you won't wipe out an entire fleet again without my permission. Yes, Father. And so Goku spends the majority of his life working under Cold. Now, I'm trying to think, how long are we going to have that there? Have it like that? Because there's no ultimate issue of going to Earth right now. I think because of the way Goku progresses and training directly under Cold, when you get to his, let's say, Saiyan Saga, Goku age, where he and Vegeta directly meet, I think though he wasn't naturally stronger, his potential was greater than Vegeta's ultimately, as we've seen. And so Goku's power, while isn't astronomically, like he's not his Namek Saga or anything like that, and even if he was, he still wouldn't be any match for King Cold, because he doesn't have Super Saiyan or the Kaioken. He is probably closer to like a Ginyu Force soldier. He is probably something along the lines of, let's just say, the 60,000. Because, again, he's got the advantage of training under Cold, being a member of Cold's forces. Cold actually respects a strong fighter, and one who's loyal to him, too. It's like, oh, Kakarot, what can I do for you? Yes, your Lord Cold. That's Lord Cold. I've been made aware of, this and this and this. And so I was like, oh, good. I can always count on you, Kakarot. You've always been a loyal soldier indeed. Of course, it's like, yes, of course, sir. Or, of course, sir. After all, yeah, you are the one who took me in. It's the least I could do. You've earned some shore leave, Kakarot. And it's like, thank you, sir. This also, I think, affects Goku's intelligence as well, because I think the hit on the head, you can make an argument the reason Goku is as simple as he is, A, he just grew up away from society and didn't really have a good grasp of it. But B, he hit his head pretty hard. That literally gave him an issue. He probably had some developmental issues. Not enough to make him like special needs or anything like that, but enough that he just wasn't, he was simple, not necessarily stupid. Here that didn't happen. So while he's not a genius, he's also pretty forward thinking. So, pretty, capable. So the question just is, how does this ultimately affect? Does Goku ever try to rebel against Cold? And as long as he's in the dark about what actually happened to his race, I don't see Goku really needing a chance to rebel. Granted, Goku is probably, I keep saying Goku, he's Kakarot, this, but I'll keep calling him Goku. When people talk to address him, he is Kakarot. And he is Kakarot, but I'll call him Goku. When Goku was conquering in the name of things, and he probably doesn't do it often because he works under Cold, not Frieza. Frieza's the one who conquers. Cold's has conquered, and he made us aware to Kakarot probably early on, but he's long since more out of the game. He lets his son run the Empire, and he kind of sits there. Goku's more like a personal guard, and occasionally he has to do an odd job for him. And as long as Cold has made it clear that, he's an enemy of my Empire, Goku will do what is necessary here for King Cold. But the question is, how does this affect everything else? Well, moving to Earth, Bulma finds Gohan, gets the Dragon Ball. Does Gohan go with her? Sometimes I think yes, sometimes I think no. I'll say sure, he goes with her. They get to Roshi. He gives him the Dragon Ball, no problem. They handle Oolong, they handle Yamcha, they handle Boss Rabbit, and they handle, honestly, Pilaf and Deoxys without issue. So Bulma probably gets her wish of either. I'll say this, to make things not awkward, it will be the lifetime supply of strawberries a wish. So that leads to Krillin training for the martial arts tournament under his master. He doesn't get to be as strong because he's not pushing himself with Goku. So ultimately he loses. Master Roshi wins. All's well that ends well. Then there's the issue of the Red Ribbon Army arc. Without Goku there, honestly, the Red Ribbon Army might win. Granted, all they're winning is their leader getting like a couple inches taller, but still, yeah. And even then, I think if I'm not mistaken, he was shot and killed by his henchmen. So he ultimately, maybe they gain world domination until Piccolo is awoken by Pilaf, and then goes for the Dragon Balls again, wasting everyone, and ultimately getting his youth back until Kami has to go and settle out his affairs with the affairs of Piccolo. Ultimately, Kami might very well take his own life if he has to, because he was willing to kill Piccolo at the end of the tournament, and Goku stopped him because, like, if he dies, you'll die too. So I think, even though we know Shin tried the Mafaba and it didn't work, I think Kami might confront him and ultimately take his own life to get rid of Piccolo. So, yeah, that leaves the Earth kind of effed. I mean, will there be anyone left after that? Roshi dies because he tries to seal King Piccolo. Tien, I believe, survived. Barely, but he survived. Krillin might be dead, but he might not be because he died going to get Goku's power pole. So, I say it out loud. I'm not sure who is still around at that point. Chaozu we know is dead. Roshi we know is dead. I'd say maybe Krillin and Tien are still around. They help rebuild all that. There's no Dragon Balls left, so it's unfortunate. And I think ultimately what happens is Popo comes and asks, one of them to be the new guardian of the planet. The planet needs a guardian. And, I think honestly, neither Tien or Krillin really want it, but they know that one of them needs it. And I think Tien takes on the offer. Unfortunately, he can't make Dragon Balls or anything like that, so that's unfortunate. But he takes on the role and still trains as Guardian, though. I think he still trains. He trains as an artist Guardian. And I think Krillin even trains with him. You know, he lives on the lookout with them for the time because Kami, though I think he also moves into Roshi's place. Turtle is very sad to see him go. All that. And so that's kind of what it is. And I think what a lot of people kind of do is turn Krillin into the new Roshi, and I think that's what they do. They turn Krillin ultimately into the new Roshi. Turtle shell, beard, and all as time goes by. So do the Saiyans ever go to Earth? Honestly, there's not much of a reason until, Frieza wants to like take the planet, and just sell it to the highest bidder. Now, fortunately, Yamcha's around too. I should note that. Him and Bulma probably do just stay together and ultimately like have a family. Chi-Chi never met Goku, so she probably just gets married to some nobody. Nice guy, but a nobody. They probably have a kid, not a Gohan, mind you. I should maybe take something back. Gohan might survive to be the one that seals Piccolo. Because you have Gohan alive here, so maybe I have to back you because I honestly forgot Gohan was alive. He either would be killed off as well, or they mop about and seal King Piccolo again, and it costs Roshi his life, but Gohan survives. So you know what? I do maybe have to take that back. Kami lives, and Kami's able to, and they're able to use the Dragon Balls to bring back the people King Piccolo killed. So you know what? I have to take that back. I do. So they're all able to bring them back ultimately. And so everything is all's well that ends. Though I still think there's training that gets done. I think Kami still brings like Krillin, like the Sea Fighters, up to train up there sometimes. Ultimately, though, it still asks the question: when, if ever, are the Saiyans going to arrive? Because they don't show up for the Dragon Balls. We know that because they never show up to hear about the Dragon Balls. Really, there's not much going on until maybe the Namek arc. Well, I think Frieza ultimately tries to go and get the Dragon Balls from Namek. And that goes about as well as I think it would. Like I said, Goku really has no... Unless Frieza needs to ask his father for help and sends one of his strongest warriors, there's no real reason for Kakarot to be getting involved. I think ultimately, though, the Namek arc goes a little different as Raditz, Vegeta, and Nappa are both alive, and all three are alive in this. And they probably are trying to circumvent Frieza as it is, which leads to a lot of upheaval, probably the death of at least Raditz, minimum. Because he's just not, he can't he doesn't have the power to do anything there. So you would get a lot. They're all trying to get Dragon Balls, only to realize ultimately that's not going to work because they don't know the language of the Namekians, which leads to conflict. I think Frieza, Vegeta, and Nappa both ultimately have to hightail it out of there before it gets worse. Frieza just blows up the planet out of spite, because he's not able to get the damn things to work. And so he's all pissy and all that. And, he wants, revenge on Vegeta and Nappa, who have probably gotten their asses kicked at least once and are now up to Vegeta's first Namek Saga power level of about 24,000. Nappa's probably pushing about 10,000 at his full power. So where do you go from here? The Red Ribbon Army is still very much around. They probably still make androids that are pretty weak by comparison, but they still make them. And ultimately, they try to take over the planet Earth. Fortunately, Tien, Yamcha, and Krillin have been training for a while, and on the lookout, and maybe even use the hyperbolic time chamber and the pendulum loom on more than one occasion. So they're able to ultimately, go toe-to-toe with these very weak androids. Like, these androids might only be in the millions, for God's sake, because Dro has not been studying Saiyan Namekian power levels all this time. He's been studying human power levels. So these androids might be like in a couple millions compared to the hundreds of millions plus that the, actual androids are in. But together they're able to ultimately overcome the androids and I think stop the Red Ribbon Army altogether. So with Vegeta and Nappa on the run, what are they going to do? Well, Frieza ultimately, I think this is where Frieza comes into play, where he goes as Father, I need your assistance. I have a Saiyan issue.
A Saiyan issue, son?
Yes, you see, I have some rogue Saiyans, Vegeta and Nappa, and Ratted's been dynamic, but unfortunately the other two escaped.
Well, son, they are under... You have the Ginyu Force at your disposal. Why don't you use them?
I know, but it would be so much useful if I could have someone who thinks like a Saiyan under my wing to help them.
Kakarot, would you be so kind as to track down Vegeta and Nappa?
Of course, Lord Cole. Is this simply a tracking mission, or is it something more?
Poopsie.
If he can bring them in unharmed, that'd be fine. I'd like to teach them some manners. I'd like to have the honor of killing them myself. Next time, I mean, this is a scenario that could happen. It is probably more realistic that the Ginyu Force gets called in. So maybe he's called in along with the Ginyu Force. And at this point, Goku's power is probably more like closer to like the 120 of like Ginyu. Like he's probably equal to Ginyu of all people. Granted, he's not, because this is mostly just from training and receiving Zenkais. He doesn't know the Kaioken. He does not have Super Saiyan. All he's got is that and his Ozaru, which I think another thing he's been training with. I think one of the things that Kim and Cold do from time to time, I think Cold legitimately trains him because he's taking a liking to Kakarot. Not like saying, he is my son and I love him. I will do anything. You are not my son, Frieza. He is not like that necessarily, but, it's one of those things, like, he really does respect what Kakarot does, and Kakarot completely is loyal to him, so he wants to make sure he's as strong as he is. So I think one of the things they've done is try to, like, train him in the Ozaru form to, help manage it. And I think he's not as capable as Vegeta is, but still he can recognize his friends and enemies, which actually makes him, when he's going all out, stronger than base form and second form Frieza. Like first the suppressed form and then second form Frieza at the moment. But, at a great cost. Frieza ultimately still wiped the floor of them, as would Cold. So ultimately they're tracking them down. Vegeta and Nappa are hiding out on a planet, getting some water and some food, using the restroom, whatever. Ultimately, though, they sense power. It's like, oh, damn it! We knew this would happen to Vegeta. I was like, Tota Senkai! Tota Senkai! Vegeta, it's so good to see you again. How have you been? You see, Lord Frieza has asked us to bring you guys in. Now, he would prefer you alive so he could kill you himself, or we could just kill you right here. What do you think, Goku?
I think that would be perfect. What, Jace, but,
say, that'd be awesome! Absolutely. Right.
But ultimately, we need to ask our friend here, Kakarot. What do you think about it?
Kakarot? Wait, does it say? And so he, steps in and say, the choice is yours, Vegeta, Nappa. Vegeta you would really hunt down your own kind, Kakarot. I'm loyal to King Cold. I'm not loyal to Frieza. I'm doing this a favor simply because King Cold asked me to, or Lord Cold asked me to. You think you're better than us just because you work directly under that madman's father? I was like, he gave me a home. He gave me a purpose, Vegeta. It's no good what happened to our race, but it can't be helped. You think I'll let you just walk in here and deliver us to the madman that wiped out our species? To which Goku hears is like, what are you talking about?
It's like, you don't know, do you, Kakarot? It wasn't a meteor or some supernova. It was Frieza. Frieza did it because he feared us. And you work straight with that man's father. You're a disgrace to your kind.
Now, Goku, at this point, hears this thing, and he just looks at the Ginyu. He's like, do you know if this is true? Hell if I know. You'd have to ask Frieza himself. But look, Kakarot, we just need just help us out here, all right? And now Kakarot, for the first time, is like, I don't believe you. He never lied to me. So, and then, they have to do the best they can to survive here. So it's like, so be it! And he throws the moon up to Nappa and him turning to Great Apes. Like, and Goku just looking on, just like, is it true? Could he have lied to me? I'm getting answers. But first things first, Termitol. It's like, yeah, bad move, Vegeta. And Goku is, league stronger. And this and just comes in and like just a great ape bodying two other great apes. Just boom, pulls my tail and just flip it, boom, and just yanks him, and just walks over and just holds out his hand with the energy beam and is just looking at him like, well, Vegeta. Oh, and then finally, he just goes back down until he just knocks him out cold. You can bring them the Frieza. I need to go ask the Lord something. And yeah, sure, great. Because when they went to Great Apes, they have their scouters. They could tell that crap. These guys, not even little Genyo Kakarot can take him on until Goku goes into Great Ape as well. Like, oh crap, this guy could literally kill us in an instant. But but he didn't, and Goku's just walking off, goes into his ship, and he's like, we're gonna have words, Lord Cold, and so he heads off. I actually didn't know if I was going to get beyond a part 1 on this, but turns out we can get into at least 2 or 3 parts of this, which is good. Anytime I start a new one, I at least want to try to make it more than 1 part when it's an ongoing series. So, yeah, join us this Saturday for part 2. Until then, see you next time. Have a good one.